Back here on ESPN Bet Live. Number one pick Caleb Williams will have to wait another week to make his NFL debut. The Chicago Bears rookie QB and other starters will not play in Thursday's Hall of Fame game. Second-year QB Tyson Bagent will start for Chicago against the Houston Texans. 8 days ago, the Bears were favored by 2 points for that matchup in Canton. By 1 p.m. today, though, this game is on the move and has shifted all the way to the Texans now being favored by 1.5. The total for this one, a Hall of Fame game, low 31.5.
Attaboy.
Win Total Week continues here on ESPN Bet Live, and it's now time for Joe and I to do a draft of our favorite NFL win total bets for this upcoming season.
The gambling is not enough. We also need to combine the draft element with the gambling.
Maybe a little strategery, because this is off the cuff for you. We didn't plan this.
Okay.
We are going to do a draft.
All right. Pick number one, the Chicago Bears. We're going to go over 8.5 wins.
I guess he won the coin toss there. It's not like I didn't win the first pick.
Is this a snake draft, by the way? Because I actually might want to go 2 and 3, but now we're already past it. Give me Chicago. A lot to like here. 7-win team from last season. They've got a top 3 schedule in terms of ease this year. They have a top 5 defense, and they have that guy, Caleb Williams. Now, a lot of people are talking about Caleb Williams and can he be C.J. Stroud this year? I don't care. I don't need him to be C.J. Stroud to get to 9 wins. I need him to be average to slightly above average. Rome Odunze, top 10 pick in the mix at wide receiver. Keenan Allen signed as a free agent to go alongside DJ Moore. DeAndre Swift comes in at running back. A lot of weapons to work with. Great defense to work with. Easy schedule. We only need 2 more wins than last season. Going over 8.5.
Bit juicy at minus 155, though. I'm going to go to an old reliable. If you hadn't heard, the Steelers and Mike Tomlin haven't had a losing season in any of his 17 years on the sideline. Now, going over 8.5 wins means yet another or 21st consecutive non-losing season for the Steelers. And look at that price, plus 125. I know the division's hard. I don't care. I think Justin Fields and or Russell Wilson, whoever's at QB, an upgrade over Trubisky, Rudolph, and Pickett from a season ago. My favorite bet. And the people's as well. 90% of the tickets and 93% of the money at ESPN Bet on 9+ wins.
A fast start is going to be the key there.
Yeah.
All 6 divisional games come after Week 11 in the second half of the season. Philly and Kansas City mixed in there as well. Start fast and you're going to be in good shape. Do I get to go 2 or we
snake it? You won the toss, I guess.
All right. San Francisco 49ers under 11.5 wins. I don't know a whole lot of people that are siding with this one. Most seem to be bullish on the Niners again this year. I can understand, but remember, one of the healthiest teams in the NFL last year. It's tough to maintain that year over year. Just ask the Baltimore Ravens. 2 years ago, one of the most injured teams in the NFL. Last year, they bounced back to be quite healthy. Throw in the fact that they're going to play 8 games this season against teams that have a rest advantage. I don't like the Niners to hit 12 wins this year. Getting the double digits is going to be tough.
You said you don't know how many people are betting it. I wanted that one. That would have been one of my draft picks, as I'm under 11.5 as well. So I'll have to pivot here. And how about we go for real ineptitude? The New England Patriots under 4.5. I think this could be the worst team or the lowest win total team in the NFL this season. I don't see them favored in any games this upcoming season, and they're in no hurry to put Drake May behind that offensive line. Might be a lot of Jacoby Brissett starts this year.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right. You got to hope they don't luck box their way into a couple wins over the Jets or Bills or anything like that. Pick number 3. Let's go with the Denver Broncos under 5.5. I'll kind of follow your logic there. I think this is going to be the worst team in the NFL. Gone is Lloyd Cushenberry from the offensive line. Simmons at safety. Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver. They couldn't upgrade with any key talent because they dumped Russell Wilson, and that's taking up $85 million in cap space. So there wasn't a whole lot they could do. They're a pretty lousy team to begin with. Schedule's top 10 in terms of difficulty, under 5.5 wins for the Denver Broncos.
All right, you left this one out here for me, so I'm going to run to the podium with the Chiefs over 11.5 wins. I mean, that division, while Jim Harbaugh is there and improves the credibility of the Chargers, I still look at Denver, as you pointed out, and the Raiders as poor competition, and the Chargers are not yet on Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's level. So easy division. It's Mahomes. It's Reid. Upgrades at offense, big time. I see them having 12+ wins yet again.
Shockingly, as a defending champion, they don't have one of the more difficult schedules in the NFL this year. You would think that, but they don't. All right, the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to go under 9.5 wins.
Yeah.
All you hear about Dallas is, well, they've won 12 games in the regular season 3 straight years. 12 games in the regular season 3 straight years. If that matters, why did the win total open 10.5 and immediately get hit by sharp guys down to 9.5 this season? Schedule's relatively tough, but you got a lot of issues. First time in a decade, the offensive line has questions. Is Ezekiel Elliott going to be your lead running back? Depth at wide receivers are concerned. Defensively, Dan Quinn is gone. Mike Zimmer stepping in. All the contract problems, possible issues in the locker room, under 9.5 on Dallas.
Yeah, I like that one, especially at 10.5, but even down at 9.5 at plus 125, I would have put that on my board. So let me scour here. Oh, how about just kind of correlate it to that? How about the Giants over 6.5? Again, plus 120 here. Brian Daboll, we saw him 2 years ago really overachieve with this team and Daniel Jones. Adding Malik Neighbors, trading for Brian Burns. I'm a little worried about the Hard Knocks curse perhaps, but I think the roster way better on paper than it was a season ago if they get competent quarterback play. So if the Cowboys struggle a bit, maybe a few extra wins in that division are picked up by the G-Men.
The Hard Knocks curse. Everybody's on Hard Knocks now. There's 10 Hard Knocks a year. Everyone's going to be cursed. Final pick, Philadelphia going over 10.5 wins. Just last year, by and large, considered an abject failure on behalf of Philadelphia. They still won 11 games. They won 11 games in a season that was a failure. The schedule is easier this year. It's top 10 in terms of ease. The biggest problems with the Eagles were inexperienced offensive and defensive coordinators. Those problems are gone. Kellen Moore steps in on offense. Vic Fangio steps in on defense. All the way around, I'm not going to pick them to win the Super Bowl, but I will pick them to get to 11 wins.
I got to scour here now for what I want. And
are you going to close it?
Here we go. My boy Anthony Richardson. That's where I'll go. Over 8.5 wins, plus 105. I think a legit threat to the Houston Texans for supremacy in the AFC South. Remember, it was a dropped fourth down pass that prevented the Colts from winning this division last year when Gardner Minshew was their quarterback for all but 4 games. So with Richardson there, Steichen, what they did in the draft, that offense, I think they're a 9+ win team and a threat in the AFC South.
Nobody talks about them. They overachieved in such a big way, but because of Houston, nobody talks about them except you. You've been talking about them for a year. I give you credit.
All right, there's the draft. Fortenbaugh first on the clock. See whose team you like for our favorite season win totals in 2024. Back here on ESPN Bet Live, it's win total week. How about the teams with the lowest win totals in the NFL? The Patriots sitting at 4.5. First-round draft pick Drake May not expected to start week 1 at QB. Vet QB Jacoby Brissett likely getting the nod there. The Panthers and Broncos, they're just one better at 5.5. Carolina coming off a 2-15 season, while Denver could start rookie Bo Nix in year 2 under Sean Payton. 6 teams have a win total of 6.5, including the Vikings and Commanders. Minnesota and Washington each have rookies who could see the field this year. Aaron, Joe?
All right, well, let's get to some of our low wins, high confidence. Now, Joe, we have a bunch of teams that are allegedly going to come up, and here we go. Oh, no, we're not going to do this. This is exciting. Do you want to talk about the Cardinals?
The Arizona
schedule?
Cardinals are going to be part of the conversation.
No, I don't think. Here we go. There we go. Good. It's midweek shenanigans. Right? I think it's Tuesday. Anyways, here's all the options that we have.
Okay.
Now, of course, we're talking about the overs, but give me the 2 that you don't like, since we only have 3 spots here.
So the overs are only part of the conversation. For teams with totals this low, who we consider for overs? I want you to take New England, and I want you to take Minnesota. I want you to get them off the list. Would not consider the overs. Doesn't mean I would bet the under, but 4.5 for the Patriots with a good defense. Maybe they luck into a couple wins with the new head coach. I want to play Minnesota's over. Rookie quarterback, good defense. People underrate them, but it's one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. So those 2 are going to be a pass. So if I'm going to do it confidence-wise in terms of their overs,
number 3 then. Get to
I'm going to go 3 to 1. I'm going to make the people work for it a little bit. Number 3, we're going to go with the Arizona Cardinals over 6.5 wins. 4-win team from last season with a minus 125 point differential. That's actually more indicative of a team with about 5.5 wins. That's an important note when we're trying to clear 6.5. We're not talking about 11 here. They were 2-5 in one-score games. They have a middle-of-the-pack schedule, full season of a healthy Kyler Murray with Marvin Harrison in tow. This team was feisty in a few matchups last year. Of the options I have presented to me, I'd rank them number 3 in terms of going over their win total of 6.5.
Yeah, they went 1-8 without Kyler Murray, so with him back, that's exciting. Wasn't one of their good wins against Dallas? Never forget. Never forget. Oh, hopefully Des Bryant's not watching. All right, number 2. Number 2.
Number 2 will be the Washington Commanders going over their win total, which is also 6.5. Schedule, top half of the league in terms of ease. We'd like it to be a little bit easier, but it's not. 4-5 through their first 9 games last year. They weren't terrible, but they kind of just completely fell off at the end of the season. They traded Montez Sweat to the Bears. Everybody pretty much packed it in. Get this, 10 games were decided by 1 score. 10. Washington's record could have been very, very different last season. Jaden Daniels, you see him right there. Cliff Kingsbury is going to be his offensive coordinator. Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson as wide receivers. He's got options early. He should put up some numbers. I like them to flirt with 7 wins this season.
Okay, I agree with both of these so far. So let's see if we, I guess we kind of give it away.
Well, given how we've already laid this out, you may already have an inkling that we're going to go with Carolina as the number 1 option to go over 5.5. You look at them, you laugh, you should. They were laugh-worthy based on how they played last year. Their win total at some shops came out 4.5. There were some sharp guys in Vegas who pounded that over right away. All right, 2-5 in one-score games last year, 7th worst in terms of turnover differential. Those are metrics that should flip this season and lead to more wins. They have a top 10 schedule in terms of ease. The key here is the new head coach, Dave Canales. I don't know if he's going to be a great head coach. I have no idea. What I do know is he has a habit of getting the absolute best out of the quarterbacks he coaches. He was the architect of Geno Smith's turnaround. He was the architect of Baker Mayfield's turnaround in Tampa last year, and that's why he got this job. They improved the offensive line. Bryce Young's going to be in good hands this year with Canales. We don't need Canales to be a Super Bowl winning coach. We need to win 6 games here, so we'll go over 5.5 with Carolina.
It does feel doable. Some of these teams, you're like, can it get much worse? Eventually, tides have to turn to some extent.
Yeah.
All right, well, this was fun.
Ease into it.
Low wins, high confidence. All right, Tyler, what else you got for us?